Okay, so today I thought I'd go through a couple of bits of my standard kit that I'm starting to use. If you've read any of my blogs, I've had to go for a harness because I do suffer from pains in the elbow and the shoulder. So picked up the Minelab harness. Really good. Find it a lot easier. Straps are nice and wide, well padded. Easy and simple to put on, take off, and everything else. The Minelab, unlike many others, has this nice support bar that helps take some of the weight off the shoulder and also transfer that to your back. You'll notice that I've got my camera set up on the shoulder strap as well. I'm using DJI Action 4 for taking videos. The standard backpack mount, not quite wide enough to go around the harness of the Minelab Pro Swing, so I've actually had to put it around the strap itself. Not ideal, but it seems to do the job. One thing I did find, the holder doesn't come with any sort of pivot or tilt other than up or down. Did mean because it was on my left shoulder, because I'm swinging the detector on my right shoulder, but quite often the shots became out of view, especially when digging holes in that. So I've recently bought a little aluminium pivot point that can be pivoted to any degree just to help keep everything in focus. So the detector I'm using is Minelab 700. Read quite a lot of reviews and saw a lot of videos prior to purchase. Originally was going to go for the Equinox 800, but decided to go for the Equinox 700 instead. Supposedly slightly better than the Equinox 600, more modern firmware, and they've changed the processor inside of the unit. Not quite as good as the Equinox 900, which is the upgraded version of the 800. So far, been out a couple of times with the kit, and it seems to be okay. I've actually added a ball and pivot support. Went for a nice low profile one on the handle here, so as not to be lower than the cuff, so as not to snag my arm on it. Could have potentially done with a little bit wider. Might have to get a couple of extenders just to move it out slightly, but that does allow me to mount the camera and turn the camera to be able to see the screen and the detector plate while swinging. So the Minelab Equinox 700 comes with a pair of headphones supplied. They are Bluetooth wireless. Oh, just turned them on by accident. Fairly comfortable. Don't necessarily block out too much of noise. I've only used them on the beach so far, and I can still hear quite a bit that's going on around me. Whether you decide that's a good or bad thing is up to you. I managed to get a special offer along with the detector. I also got the Minelab Pro 35 pinpointer. I had a few hits and misses with this, seems a little bit temperamental. Had problems with the battery moving around. So what I've actually had to do to this is I've actually installed a small piece of foam in the bottom of it that helps to just keep the battery in place. A little bit of extra pressure on the battery. Seems to have cured it so far. One of the important things with these detectors is to make sure that you ground balance them when you're turning them on. It does come with a little LED light for looking in holes that you dug. Not overly bright, probably just a waste of battery, to be honest. You'd be better off with a status light. It is something that I'm looking at replacing, So if anybody's got any suggestions, please put them in the comments below. Currently I'm mainly looking at doing beach digs. Obviously I want to get out and do some proper digs in fields and that, but for the time being I've gone with the Minelab plastic stroke ABS trowel. I haven't had to use it yet. I've also got a sand scoop that does the job for me. I haven't needed to actually use the trowel. Reason for getting a plastic one is obviously if you've got the pinpointer in the hole, you can easily put the trowel in there at the same time. This one won't set off the pinpointer. So sand scoop, can't remember the make of it. I'll have to look that up and add that afterwards. I find it very easy to use. It does have a nice long handle, so that does save me bending down all the time. It's quite easy if you've actually got it out of the hole to just wiggle the scoop and let the sand come out depending on how wet it is. The only downside so far with this is actually the supply bolt. They supply a nice bolt with a square locker on it, but obviously no square holes either side to allow that to fully go in. So I'm probably going to replace that for a better bolt to give me a nicer, flatter connection to the shaft.